Yo, everybody, this is Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. I got special guests on, one of my Star Wars buddies from our Flying Casual group, Scotty. I'm going to introduce him, but we're going to kick this music because I'm retarded like that. Let's get to it.
So let's get
to it. So introduce yourself, Scotty, man. Let everybody know where you're at, what you do.
What's up? My name is Scotty Hawk. I am known as Hawk's Holocrons on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I have a page there. I try to do live chats on the Tuesday nights, which I might do later, depending on what we do tonight, but we'll see. Yep. Just talking about Wanda Vision over there right now, because that's pretty much what I'm watching and what I'm into. So
yeah. I mean, I know that you don't want to do too much spoiling, but I don't really care. Was that Wolverine?
Dude. Who?
Was that Wolverine in that episode?
Which character now are you talking about?
I don't know.
On the screen, right?
Yes.
When they're going through the name. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to figure out what's up with that because it's an alias. And I'm very casual when it comes to a lot of this stuff, just articles that I read and things I pick up on. But Madripoor is supposed to be where some of these people are currently at.
Okay.
And that city is like a magical city, and there's a bunch of mutants in there. And Wolverine goes by another name. It's a weird name. I'm not sure what it is. But he's supposed to pretty much run that city. Like, he's running the show over there. So I don't really know what I'm going to do.
That's crazy. I mean, we did watch the first two episodes 2 nights in a row because we were behind it the first. So I think episode 5 had came out, we watched the other two, and then we were kind of watching it. I do like it. I mean, of course, now we're going into the color part of the season, and it was a nice transition. And then at times I'm looking over at Molly, and I'm like, oh, here's that bed scene. I'm like,
yeah, it's funny because a lot of people, first 3 episodes had zero interest in the show. They were just like, what? They couldn't figure out how it was connected, what they were trying to do, why it's all old-timey. I'm excited, though. I think we're going to get an episode eventually that shows Wanda's perspective. Yeah. We've seen pretty much every other perspective, but once they show us, trailers and things too have shown a lot. If you look at all the little like screen grabs, apparently she goes into like a sword headquarters, assuming that she gets his body. But yeah, they've shown, I don't want to say too much, but they've shown other images of him and things, and it's cool. I don't really know where they're going with it.
It's when I was watching, that second episode, he got that gum in him and he was acting like he was drunk and stuff, but he couldn't like tell her and stuff, and she didn't. I like the spin. I like the different aspects they're taking of it, and it's definitely something we're going to watch. We've just been so busy with, of course, karate and then the injury and then getting back into the swing of things. That's the biggest thing.
This show is going to be binge worthy. Like, it's going to be probably the most binged show, because when it ends, people are going to have to go back to the beginning and then watch it to figure out and see all these little, like, they mentioned this guy Ralph throughout the show. I don't know if you heard that name. It's like Agnes's husband.
Okay, yeah.
Agnes is the neighbor that just always shows up when it's convenient. And like, we found out a lot more about her recently.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I keep really talking about it if you...
Hey, I mean, we're into it right now. We might as well just talk a little bit about it. I don't want to spoil your show either. So you cut what you want to keep for your show, and then what you want to talk about right now,
No, it's fine. We can talk about it. But I'm interested how much into the comics you were with like her kids, Wiccan and Speed, or if you're familiar with those names at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like the names, yes, but not the actual comic. When it comes to X-Men, I'm not X-Men, just Marvel in general, I'm very limited. I was always a DC Vertigo kind of guy. So my number one comic growing up was John Constantine's Hellblazer. So that's why that's what you get from me.
But even like, did you watch any of like Saturday morning cartoons, like the X-Men cartoon show?
Of course, from back in the 90s when they started that. Yeah.
So there's a lot of actual callbacks to that, like her costume and all this other stuff. Like on the Halloween episode, they dress up as the two of them. They look like they're in the show. but the storyline, I guess we could talk about comics because they're out. Like the stories have been out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a House
exactly.
of M. House of M, where she creates her own fake family, and it's her vision. They have these two kids. There's a famous line in this comic where she like has a mental breakdown and she whispers "no more mutants," and it completely removes mutants from existence. And I don't even know exactly why she gets to that point, but there are storylines where the kids are actually aspects of Mephisto's soul, and Mephisto is like the devil in the Marvel comics.
Okay.
And so he uses the kids and the aspects of his soul to manipulate her, to cause her to explode, and she eventually causes the multiverse to completely break apart. And that's where all these movies are leading into.
Yeah,
like multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
Yeah, I was of
She
course
is,
with Doctor Strange coming, the new Doctor Strange coming out.
Yep.
That's going to be a big thing. So we're all waiting for that, of course. And I mean, outside of like the movies themselves, other than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out, which I'm really excited about that as well.
Yeah, dude, that show is going to be insane. Last thing I want to say about Wanda though is like she becomes the apprentice, like the sorcerer's apprentice to Doctor Strange. And there's a line, I won't tell you who said it, but there's a character that says, "You've come a long way since waving your hands and causing a couple wiggly woos and like messing with people's minds to
It's gotta be
creating this
Magneto.
whole
Is it
bubble."
Magneto?
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but oh man, I forgot where I was going with it. But so she will eventually in the Doctor Strange 2 movie, she's going to be learning from Doctor Strange how to actually use her chaos magic, which is being used right now accidentally. She doesn't really, because she doesn't know what's happening, but she's okay with it because she's happy and she's not like miserable without Vision. So
Exactly. That is good. I go back to like the whole like Marvel and everything. I think that a lot of people miss the aspect that this is just good stuff to do. Like if you're not doing anything else, why not sit down and watch something? Like why have any of these like personal agendas or things against anything? Let's just watch good TV. Let's respect it. But I can't wait to get back in the damn theater, man. I can't.
Yeah, dude.
It's killing me.
We paid for a movie recently and I totally regretted it immediately. Tenet. No offense to Christopher Nolan, but I paid to rent it. It was good, but it was just like it was a Nolan movie and it was hard to watch. You had to watch it like multiple times.
Oh, that sucks. And that's the thing. Like I knew, like I've talked about this on other episodes, but we all knew where it was going. Where there's no theaters, we knew that they were going to start charging a premium service. What they did with Mulan, Disney, that is, and then of course what happened with Wonder Woman. Go on.
I didn't mean to cut you off. They're doing that again with Raya and the Last Dragon, so you'll be able to get it early, and it'll release again eventually. So
yeah, I'll wait for it. Like I went and looked, and it was like 2 months, and I'm like, but it sucks because I do have these credits built up because they stopped charging my account, but up until that point, I had all these points and all these credits just built for this time of the year, technically. Yeah, so
that's cool.
I don't have to spend the money. I want something to come out in the theater for, me and Mini Override, to go see. Yeah. And what is it? I think the ones that we're going to see, what's coming? What are they doing again? What's coming out soon?
Black Widow, potentially. They haven't moved it back any further yet, but May, I think.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Like those credits are just going to be in there. They don't ever expire. And that's the cool thing about having that is like every month I would get that little charge. I don't know. Were you part of the movie club?
No, I'm not actually.
Oh, well, up until that point, every month you just had that one flat fee, but you get that credit. So then it rolls over. So then I was rolling months over because, usually around until last year, usually that would be everything would hit in March, then April, then May, and then June, and maybe July. But usually between I would say March and May, you were getting some of the biggest releases that you would ever get for the movies. And we would have over the Christmas time, we would just slow down and other than Star Wars, and we would have tons of them saved up. And then
I used to go to the movies every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend there was a new release. I was there at midnight.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I was
man.
that kid. Like I kept all the movie stubs and I had them taped inside a notebook. Like it was bad.
I have the movie stubs as well, but they're
Mhm.
around the house. And there's like
Yeah.
some in a drawer, like from the Star Wars.
I think my first movie stub I actually started collecting was the original Tomb Raider. I really want to say that was like 2004, 2002. I can't remember, but
I'd be surprised if I found that one.
yeah, shortly after like sequel trilogy type stuff.
Yeah, I saved when they did the reanimation. What was that?
Prequels, not sequels. Prequels.
Yeah. They did the re-release of Transformers, the animated movie. Me and my buddy caught it, at what we have here is Tinseltown. And we went up. So I still have those. I got the special posters from those. But I got like the Star Wars. I really need to one day go looking for them all. But whoever does that,
The junk drawer is just full of them.
Yeah. Just like, okay, one day. But you did it right. You're like, okay, we're going to put these in something for now. And we'll just keep putting
I still lost that.
Oh, see? The wonders of a house.
Yeah, for real. Like every week, this behind me changes slightly because I'm constantly reorganizing.
Yeah, and that's, I think that was kind of like, I wasn't really into Funko kind of things. And then like I picked up, I guess was it Michael's. Michael's had a couple Star Wars ones. It was like half off, 80% off. It was like $2. I was like, how can you pass that up? It's normally like $10, $11, $12. So I picked them up, picked up the ones I wanted and, rolled on our way. And then we went up to the game store, me and Minnie. And I was like, oh, they had a Tyrael one. And Tyrael's right here on my shoulder, like I've said before. So it's
from Diablo.
Yeah. When you brought up Mephistos too, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. If the leaked Funko for Mephisto is anything like what that character is gonna look like, bro, woo, he's gonna be dope. I hope we get more demons in the MCU. I mean, you're literally gonna do a Blade movie. Eventually, hopefully, they're gonna redo a Ghost Rider movie. Like, pull the trigger now. I think a lot of people think in Wanda that the villain's gonna be Nightmare, and he runs a dream dimension. So essentially, Wanda's inside a dream or a trance type state where she's conscious, but it's not her consciousness; it's being controlled.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's so nice to like, again, be alive up until like COVID shutting down the theaters, of course. It's so nice to get this much content right now. Star Wars ready to just overload us 100%. What you got?
It's so funny because you want to talk about Star Wars, but we did Casual Council. I have all of this stuff written down about the launch, like the High Republic type stuff. Never even talked about it.
Dude, the last when we just did the book club, literally we talked about some of the key points, like Rey being able to read Palpatine's mind and go back and see it all, and then we stuck with Leia, and then we stuck with Ben Solo in the Chewie moment. Well, Kylo, whatever you want to call him, when he came, he let Chewie go, but then he went into his mind. Like we literally talked about that the entire. We didn't even talk about the movie, the book, the endings, the anything. We only talked about that. It was so funny. But you're right. Like that's what happens in them casual councils. Sometimes, like Michael said, the one time he had to cut a half hour of that stuff off at the end because we were just talking about everything.
Oh yeah, it just can spiral outward.
It did, and I did not say Abeloff. You missed that,
dude. Not for nothing. High Republic could lead to Abeloff.
It can.
We're gonna be pouring one out for Abeloff eventually, bro.
There's something that's gonna happen because the thing is with her that she's pretty much released every 1,000 years. So I think that there just has to be some kind of like timeline. So with us going back this far, I think that this will help maybe level out that timeline a little bit. I don't know about Rey. Like since they did like Rey is kind of like maybe Luke now, maybe Abeloff would be a man, but I don't think they would do that. I think I would like to see.
I don't think there's a need. because she was female, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah.
probably,
That'd be
yeah.
a nice battle. Two girls going at it. But
Dude, and um, people don't understand, like, just mentioning Tython, just the name Tython already opens the timeline up that far back. So
yeah.
they can bring in characters like that.
Did you read the first book already? The Light?
I'm halfway through just because I know like what happened through reading articles online, but I've tried to stay away from a lot of the spoilers.
Yeah.
I was trying to look up the bad guy's name, like the head guy.
Yeah, so I've heard a few things. I heard that the book kind of moves slow, and that I think some of the people are getting confused with all the different people. Of course, they're all going to make sense, but they said that it being an introductory book, it seems like a lot of information at once. You're getting that?
And I feel like that's a consensus on YouTube with a lot of people, but I feel like a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth about the whole premise of the storyline and how they treated other storylines, and I don't know, people are kind of turned off by the High Republic, and it's not because it's anyone's fault, but a lot of people just aren't reading books either. I feel like and comics, you can't go to comic book shops, some of them are closed, so it's you got online, you got to like audiobooks, that kind of stuff. But
you got the things now with the phones now, the subscriptions.
I've enjoyed the shit out of it. Like, I'm loving the book. There's so many cool things in it that people are really overlooking, in my opinion. Like the fact, just this ship, for instance, it's called the Vector. It's what the Jedi fly. Pretty much only Jedi fly it. You have to have your lightsaber. Your lightsaber is basically your ignition, and it goes into it. That's how they're powered. I don't know if it's the Kyber that powers it, but the way when I'm reading it, that I visualize them as like the Nova Corps in the Marvel movies. You know how they got those gold ships? They're super fast, but they're very delicate. So like the slightest little whatever is going to vaporize them. There's not physical people inside those in the Nova Corps, but these Jedi are so good at flying, and I can't remember what they call it, but they do like a flying show, like a air show. And it's like thousands of these ships. You know how when birds are doing that whole like, and it looks like a mirage? Yeah. So there's thousands of Jedi doing this, coming within millimeters of each other's ships just to show how good they are. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, I get chills just thinking about seeing that and knowing that there's just people flying those things, and they're doing stuff like, Han Solo times a billion that only they do.
That's crazy. It sounds fun though. It sounds like a good book. Like, I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm going to pick it up. I don't want to fall too far behind, because that's what happened with my Anne Rice stuff. I got all the way up to The Blood Can't Seal or whatever. It was right before the Plinth Lestat, and she's wrote 2 more books since then. She wrote the Plinth Lestat, and then she wrote Lestat and the Tales of Atlantis, which that's like 2 fashions right there for me. I love Atlantis, and of course I love Lestat. So I want that. And then now it's got a 3rd book now, and I can't remember it offhand, but yeah, she's just literally just said, there you go. After being all those years, I was probably about, I'd say, because I had to read, after I was done with the original 5 of the Vampire Chronicles, I had to go read the Witching Chronicles.
This is like Queen of the Damned?
Yeah. So pretty much it's Interview with the Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned. Then it goes Tale of the Body Thief, where just if you've never read it or not going to read it, pretty much a demon switches a human body with Lestat. So then Lestat's able to be human and forgets what it's like to be human. So then he has to learn to be human. So he tells all the other people, he gets in a lot of trouble because he gave away a very powerful body because of the whole thing that happens in the Queen of the Damned. Then it pretty much summons Neemnock the devil. And then when Neemnock comes up, he takes him through heaven and hell. And then I went into the Witching Hour, which, that's Witching Hour. I think it goes Taltos and Lasher. And then after that, that's when you go into Armin, the book of Armin's book. You learn about Marius. And Marius is pretty much who used to be the keeper. It just goes crazy after that.
I got into that. I was into the movies and the books up to Queen of the Damned, and how Lestat was using his music to give away vampire secrets and shit like that. That was amazing. I was like, that is like real drama in a vampire world. Like that was cool to me.
It is.
But the book, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the way that she puts them together, both the witches and the vampires. So you start getting a lot from the witches, and then even as their centuries go on and Lestat's still alive or other vampires are still alive, they come. One of the really good books in this series is a later one. It's called The Blackwood Farm. It's really good. It's just dark and it takes places in different cities, of course. But ultimately, there's like this swamp, and they try to like solve this like riddle. I won't reveal anything. It's really good. There's cool. so many different things, and that's when you get to that aspect, that's what lights me up. So you talking about chaos, you talking about
Dude, hey, I was gonna say the chaos magic aspects of Wanda Vision and this character Agatha Harkness. She's a witch. She's been alive since 500 years before Atlantis falls. Oh. So we know they're planning to bring Namor and shit back into they own that character now. So like he's gonna show up actually. But they're gonna, in the show they hint at Salem witch trials, and Agatha brings up June 2nd. That was like the first day of the Salem witch trials. Okay. I had to look that up because my birthday is actually June 2nd. I never knew this statistic. So now I'll probably never get this statistic. But
wow.
You're gonna like it. I feel like once it opens up, it might open up into spin-offs, I feel like too, that go into the more demonic side of things. Like literally think about Mephisto, the demon. He's probably, he gets power from the souls. The souls that are in his world give him his power.
Yeah.
So snap happens, half of all the souls are just yours now. Other snap happens. Half those souls are just not yours anymore, bro. He's pissed.
Yeah. So he's really fucking mad,
all
man.
Going to slide into this, man. It's all connected.
By the way, there is an explicit tag if you happen to drop any kind of bomb.
Okay, yeah.
That's good time.
I try not to on mine until the end. I subscribe to like what John Den a Nerd says because they're moderators like anybody else. They watch these videos and they're going to watch the first 25, 30 minutes. They're going to get the gist of who you are and the kind of person you are. And they're going to just go on to the next video. So
that's what they do.
Back half his videos, he swears so much. It's bad, but I'll try to tone it down.
It's really, this universe is going to come together. It's going to be really great to watch it go down. But that just leads us to the trailer. I watched your trailer, of course. And I watched, your buddy was busting your balls about it. He was like, dude, you have no motion or something. I was dying.
No, because of the reaction faces that people have on videos. What I do with mine is I like the reaction that I'm posting as my thumbnail is the reaction I have at the time of the videos that you see. So I just screenshot, like I'll go back super slow and catch like a blink or something, just because it's fun. But
I know. I see I do. Plus you take in a lot more than most people because just being part of that aspect of the Flying Casual crew, one thing we all know is that we all look for that extra detail, or we're looking over here to see what we find.
We're sweaties.
Yeah. we just like it, and it's fun to us, and that's the thing. So when I was watching it, I almost started thinking, I was like, man, I totally forget the other Justice League now, completely. Like I remember it, but it's like it's almost gone out of my head.
It's like the Mandela effect. I thought I actually owned that shit until I went and looked through all my DVDs. I don't even own it. I own Batman vs. Superman. And my head just was like, oh, I have them both. Now I'm to the point where I wish I had it because I don't think I'll be able to even buy it anywhere once this other movie comes out. Like this movie's going to blow it out of the water, bro.
It does look good.
So hyped.
I've seen some people talking down on it. Of course, you're going to get that too. They're because of just adding, in Darkseid now. And then, of course, Joker getting involved now, which is really big. But, this is leading up to Joker's crew eventually, too. So, what's the Team of Doom, or?
I'm not sure about that stuff.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm not, that DC aspect, I'm not. It's all John Constantine, but.
I think there's a lot of posturing going on too, because with the whole Ray Fisher drama and stuff. Like Warner Brothers has said they're not interested in doing any more really Snyderverse stuff. And Zack Snyder has also said he's not interested in doing anymore. I think he said that on purpose because when this movie comes out, everyone's gonna be like, yo, I'm interested in more Snyderverse stuff. Why is nobody else?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is the nightmare sequence, bro. Dude, when he actually comes and actually destroys the earth, and not to spoil anything, but if this comes true, like Batman, Joker, Cyborg, they all team up to take down Darkseid. Like it could get crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's only a one-off though. I think Joker is only in that scene and then like maybe one other one, but
okay.
I don't think he's too heavy.
So do you think, so right now, with the difference, where does what's his face, the other villain in this one, Steppenwolf, where's he playing to this now? Because of course he was big in the other one, now he's in this one and it seems like he's overpowered now.
He's supposed to be like that. Like his mom is the unity, or like when the mother boxes are brought together, like that's who created him or something. I can't remember. I'm not a sweaty when it comes to that stuff. But
yeah, I got you. Yeah,
ideally,
there's a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, he is a badass. Like he's no joke when it comes to this stuff.
It seems like he's fighting a lot in this movie too.
His mission's to bring his mom back. Like that's what he's trying to do. So like he worships the mother boxes. Like it's
It makes sense. So it's going to be nice to see them play off. I did, however, you did have a reaction when they talked about, what was the quote they said? They said, we can't always hope for a man in a red cloak or something.
Oh, dude, if you can't face the charging bull, you shouldn't wave the red cape at it.
Yeah.
That line is going to be remembered for a long time. That was crazy.
That stuck out. And that you were like, I was like, yeah, that was when I was watching.
And the black suit, and the fact that they're bringing that back, like it's science, bro. Like black absorbs sunlight. That suit is used to regenerate Superman. It's the comics. It's night and day in the comics.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Quest of Peace in a way, with the Superman made out of the sun.
Dude, they could go into so much more if they would just, I don't know, man. There's so much drama around it. They won't. They've already said they're not going to redo Ray Fisher's Cyborg. They're not going to put him in anything. And like, he'd be huge in the Flash movie. Now you force them to write around Cyborg in the Flash movie. Like, God, what do we do?
So much.
Just stop.
Don't try. Yeah, it's like this is like what we're getting with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like we're getting two of the more likable characters you don't really know a lot about. We do know more about Flash than Cyborg, but at the same time, you want to see both those guys together because those are the people that are going to make it push further. Kind of like Teen Titans, the older Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go, but like how deep that original cartoons and everything was. How that you always wanted to see more of Beast Boy or learn more, but it always seemed like it revolved around Raven and Robin.
Dude, are you watching Titans?
Titans, like the new Teen Titans Go?
No, like Titans on HBO, man.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Dude, find someone with a password.
Yeah, that's what I would have to do.
You will love that, dude. You'll love it. Jason Todd shows up in that, and he is a dick. Like he is, these guys, I don't know where they found these actors. I don't know any of them, but they're all amazing.
Nice.
The Dick Grayson in it is amazing. He's like the leader. So good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the stuff that I kind of like too, is getting into that, because eventually I want to see them work Constantine back into the series, but for some reason they seem to keep him right here.
Yeah.
But they don't want to really bring him in. I know that's probably because of the whole aspect of, the demons and hell versus, heaven thing. And I don't know if they know how to explain that.
I've heard that is a hard sell because of China.
Really?
I keep hearing all this stuff about China and how they can't put characters like Mephisto or like devil, like literal devil characters. And
no, you're right. You're right. even the WWE when they had or was it WWE? Yeah. No,
Like
Kiss when they went over and they did that
yeah.
show over at Atlantis. They had to change War Machine because of the things that it depicts in War Machine and things like that.
Yeah. So how do they write in that kind of stuff? It's like, really?
Yeah. See, and that's right there that kills, because if you can't put it in, unfortunately, that country or countries like that, then you can't make that extra money from it. And I think that's why for years too, a lot of people didn't know about Constantine in the Hellblazer series, because Hellblazer was an over 18-year-old comic book. And you had to be 18. You had to know an 18-year-old friend. I made out because one of two comic places, unless there's another one I don't know about. Yeah, there's a few that have comics. But the two major ones was always Gateway Comics, and the biggest one was it's this other one up there. It's right by the mall and stuff. They sorry, they actually they would be they're the only two. So I went to him, and he was just looked at me, and he was just like, "Look, dude, I know you have friends over 18. They come in here all the time with you. I know how this game works. You got this magazine, and now you're going to read it, or the comic, and you're going to read it." And I was like, "Yep." So he was like, "Please don't tell your parents. Please don't tell anybody. This is 1988. Yeah." He was just like, "Just please, man, let me go." Or maybe 90, because I was around like 15.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Just don't tell anybody." And I never did. And it led to, I bought his number one. I bought a number one of Hellblazer. And then I bought a lot that had a number one in it. And I want to say I got one more, but I don't think so. When he had one of his apartment complex, my other buddy who was a Judge Dredd fan for years, when his apartment complex burned down, he lost all of his Judge Dredd comics, and he lost that because he started collecting Hellblazers because he just started loving it. And that was like what kind of like brought him in. And like I turned him on. He's the only one of my friends. Everybody else it was just like the music with my friends. This guy liked Iron Maiden. The same guy that liked Iron Maiden loved Iron Man. The guy that loved Anthrax loved Judge Dredd. The guy who loved Rob Zombie loves Hellblazer. So it's just, and then the guy who loves Marvel is more like into the rap and maybe some of the stuff, but he's always been a rap. We're all into rap because DJ Magic Mike, growing up with him, and then eventually meeting him and things like that. It's just always been big staple music and stuff. But yeah, Hellblazer, man, it's just not gonna get out there, and it's really crazy. Like I wanted to, but I just think it's never gonna be one of those things.
With streaming, it could all change though too. So they could put disclaimers on things like this, and then you just choose not to watch that.
Yeah, or just don't put it over, in the certain countries that can't handle that market. Yeah, and I mean you lose it, but you still there's a lot, because Constantine's really big in the United Kingdom as well. I mean, of course, but he's really big. A lot of the people I run into are from United Kingdom, and I think that it just goes back to just putting all this together and having an amazing story with the DC universe and being able to use those, because he did port over through Green Arrow, I think it was, right?
I'm not sure, but I was going to say, do you think it's another level of difficulty with the fact that they cast Keanu Reeves back in the day? And so now if they do another one, like if you don't get him back to do it, like, what do you, would you want a new Constantine?
I want the show Constantine, whoever that guy is. I can't remember his name offhand.
I'm going to say he's good.
He looks exactly like it, because Constantine was made to look like Sting. That's who he's based off of. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that, but that's cool.
Yeah. So, and RIP with him too. It's one of those things that they did that and they made it. And I still remember I didn't understand like the whole like transition things like of like words over there, of course, because I never had a British friend. We didn't have internet. We didn't talk to like British people.
Yeah.
So I got my first thing, and he gets this, he has this like, there's this like zombie kind of guy. He's locked up, and John just straight owned this guy. And he gives him a knee to the face, and he throws him to the zombie. And the zombie, and the I think it words it as the zombie goes for the candy. And if you can imagine where that fight happened, I was like, no. Oh, and at the end, he walks out and he looks at the other guy and he goes, hey, he goes, what's up? He was like, got a fag? And I was like, what? And I was like, I didn't understand that. And then finally, my buddy, he was like, dude, that's British for sig. I was like, oh, makes sense. And then, of course,
Yeah.
you get to learn those things with a different kind of comic. And that's what I learned. It was really neat.
Dude, did you ever get into, did you ever see the animated Dark Avengers movie with like Constantine?
No.
I can't remember half their names, but Constantine in that and the Swamp Thing in that are so.
No, I gotta do it. Now I have to do it because I didn't know Constantine was in that, but I have seen that like around there. I think it's right on Disney Plus, right? No, it won't be.
It might be now, but I know if you know anyone that has HBO Max, it's got all the animated DC movies.
Mm-hmm.
Animated DC movies. I don't know why they can't just copy paste that onto the silver screen. Like,
yeah.
Oh, guys, you won't mess up if you just watch the animated movie and try to do better.
Yeah. They just, and I think because the Batman one's for real. Like a lot of his cartoons and his cartoon movies are completely off the hook, and you go back to that, and I think that's it right there. Is that those people they're writing a series, and then most like Transformers, you want to say back in the day, you're writing a book, and it finally culminates to that movie. It's like you're a basketball player. You're now like the Michael Jordan. You're just writing away. Just boom, 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 and then whereas these guys come in, they're like, "Hello, we're gonna make a movie," and you're like, what? Who are you? Like, oh, okay. Well, I like you. I like some of your other work. I like some of what you did, but let's see it work out. And because I wish that it wouldn't have went the direction it did with the DC movies. And like a lot of people, I wish they would have taken the magic that they had with the Dark Knight, and used that
Start
stuff.
there. Yeah, like not for nothing. Pick a universe and put everything you have into it. Like that Batman never got any like true villains other than a Two-Face and a Joker.
Yeah,
you could have done so much more before you went into Batman versus Superman. Why didn't they even give Henry Cavill an Man of Steel 2? Like, where is that damn movie? Like, I want
to see him drunk in
You're
a
doing
bar
one
flicking peanuts at the glass. Where's that? You remember that?
Anything, man. Yeah.
That was one of me and my friends used to do that. I made a meme the one time I found him, and he was just sitting there like this. And you just like, that scene. That scene is like it's a stupid scene. A lot of people, like the Richard Pryor one, the quest, and then of course the Quest for Peace, they didn't really, they lost themselves on that. But of course, 1 and 2 is where those meat and potatoes are, because you had Zod, and of course you had Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, even DC Universe, the beginning, when I first saw the beginning of that, the game, the intro where like everybody dies, I was like,
yeah,
that's major.
It's like that. Yeah, just do stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's always the wrong people in the wrong position. Sometimes the right people in the wrong position that kind of do it, because we're not even going to get into The Last Jedi. I mean, I like the movie. I'm not a hater of it, but we all know that that people just literally take that movie and crap it.
They champion it. Yeah, there's people that champion that movie because there's people that hate it so much. It's like the more extreme this way pushes, the more extreme we got to push out this way. I think it's hilarious. I look back in context at quotes like Daisy Ridley saying, "It's so good it could be its own movie," and it's like, yeah, it's so good it could be its own movie, but it doesn't necessarily fit in with all the other movies. So it's like,
no, it's like that could have been the book. It's like between, but then you wouldn't really release that book until after you had already released that movie, the whatever movie they would have did in the middle.
Yeah.
So, but we were talking about that on the book club on Saturday night, how the Rise of Skywalker should have been a 2-part movie like Harry Potter did, because they knew that you couldn't just fit it all into one movie.
Yeah.
And that would have left so much more, because of course, when we all saw The Rise of Skywalker, some of us hated it. Of course, I loved it. It's my number one because of the answers it answers, or the questions it answers. But at the same time, it everybody's like, well, where's Kylo Ren fighting at? Okay, nobody knows that that's actually vegetation on Mustafar, and
Right.
Yeah, and then you go from there. Like, you didn't know that he met the eye of
Oh
yes.
the eye. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I get it. So
And then
I wanted
Vader.
the eye of Bangladesh. I don't even know.
Dude, the comics are I don't know.
Yeah.
People are so. I don't want to get too into how much I hate people, but they're ruining the story. They're ruining the stories. Like, the storytellers can't even tell the stories without people being like, Vader's going to Exegol? Really? Vader's going to Exegol? Like, just chill, bro. Like, yeah, maybe it's going to be dope. Maybe it's going to be a huge connection. Maybe you'll finally go back and watch the sequels and be like, oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they do continue to flesh it out in the Filoni verse, whatever. Fill it all in as much as you can.
Yeah, and I think that's what they want to do, because I think in some way they're trying to address the EU, but they want to do the EU their way. I mean, they've said this. We know this. But I think they want to do it their way. So that's what this whole book line here, of course, with the High Republic is going to be leading into. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did a rewrite of Darth Plagueis, because it's been mentioned. So therefore it's canon.
Yeah. So, I hope he's in it. I hope he comes up in the Acolyte show, even if it's right at the end. And dude, give somebody a young Palpatine trilogy and just call it Rule of Two. It doesn't even have to include Bane and all those other guys. You can do flashbacks and Plagueis telling the tales of how he transitioned his body. Like, they could do it.
Yeah, it's definitely a big thing that they could add everything together. And that's, at least we know with at least Star Wars and, Disney, and then of course Marvel, but mostly Star Wars right now. Don't mind my puppy though. Yep. I knew it was coming, but she's crazy.
We're talking about.
Yeah, she's like, what, you talking about me? Well, the cat gets kind of going. So then the cat wants to fight the puppy. So going back to it, this whole thing, that's what makes it so fascinating, is that they finally, for once, gave us like, this is what's going to happen. And we're like, and then like we have DC where they're like, nope, no more movies. No more of that. No, we don't want even that. Who even cares? Let's just make more of these movies. It's like, stop making these movies. And when you brought up Batman earlier, the way that, it's like they made him old too fast.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? That's, to me, that's just that's moving the story too long. And I would have liked to see Batman, fight people like Poison Ivy or Freeze or the Penguin, there's so much with that universe that you can do, but they choose not to do it. And
they're literally DC's only hope is that the Flash movie is enough of a Flashpoint Paradox reboot that they themselves can use it as a catalyst to just tell new stories, because everything's going to change. Because they're literally right now at the point where it's like, your Superman individual storyline's dead. Yeah. Your Batman individual storyline is dead. Your Wonder Woman individual storyline is still in the past, working its way up to the current timeline, but we know she's in this Justice League movie. But other than that, you don't have other, like Aquaman. Yeah, you're developing that. So you got Aquaman, Wonder Woman, pretty solid development. But outside of that, like the Flash movie is still up in the air. Like, we don't even know if Ezra Miller is going to make it to the movie. Like,
yeah, it's just at this point, there's not much, in this range, like you talking about that for a second reminded me of that meme that somebody posted it in the group or wherever. Maybe it was you. I don't know who did it. Do you know what I'm talking about with the Avengers? And over each Avengers, they're like paralyzed, dead, got old and got married. And then you look at it and you're like, wait a minute. It's this is true. They're all gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
but,
man.
Yeah. But whereas like Marvel, they're going to develop new storylines. The Young Avengers, kids are taking over. DC is just cutting storylines off. They're not building more. Like we have nothing to really look forward to other than the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batman trilogy, which they said they want to do a trilogy. They had this whole DC fandom. Like I was hyped for that. But then now you have this drama with Walter Hamada and him, and everybody's saying they're going to not do Snyderverse stuff. So, okay, you only have Batman now. Again, now we're just back to back. Now you have no Superman. You have no Wonder Woman. Like, why are you doing Wonder Woman 3 if not to develop more Snyderverse stuff?
And
I don't know.
That also says the thing, too, going back to the Wonder Woman 3 and how that seems like that they're hooked on Aquaman and Wonder Woman. They're hooked on Gal Gadot, and they're hooked on whatever his name is again. I'm having a blank on every name, but they're hooked on Jason
Momoa.
Yeah, they're all hooked on him, and I get it. And this is where I think that you're right when you bring up the fact that the fans are writing this because the fans want to see those actors because of their immense popularity, whereas right now, like Cavill's getting no love. Like there's people that actually hate that guy. And I thought he did good. I thought he looked like Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's our only option. So I don't know why they're hating. We don't have another Superman. Like I'm not trying to hate anyone who's our only literal hope in any movies. He wants to play the character.
Yes.
That's all I need.
To me, you have that all. And I think when you brought up earlier too, when you talked about you have this, they're all going to hate or all going to love. And there's just the people like us and the people like the Flying Casual crew and then other people that we know in our lives that agree with us and stuff. It's almost like we're the gray Jedis. Like you see both sides. You don't want to pick one. You just want to take the best from where you're at and absorb it all in, like what we all want to do. But I think that I don't know if this is like a Twitter virus thing or something where people just feel that because they have that platform to say you sucked or I didn't like where your hand was next to the ashtray at minute 17:36. Like you really watched that in super slow motion and got offended by it? Like I'm not saying that happened, but that they're extreme like that. They'll figure it out. Yeah. And I'm like, I used to not get mad at that. If you ever watched the original Dark Features, have you?
No, I don't know what that is.
So it's kind of like vampires. It's Barnabas Collins. So they did a show they rebooted it, and then they did the movie with Johnny Depp. But back in the day, they were so bad. They would have like a guy standing over here, right? And then
you could see him.
Yeah. They don't think you can see him. They're like, Jimmy, and he comes walking in. You're like, he's right there the whole time, and it's so funny. It is. If you go, you probably could find it. A lot of the background things that they had in that, it was just bad. But like someone would look at that nowadays, and they would just get angry about it and say, cancel the show, or we don't want to see crap like that. Whereas I'm just like, look, he's right there. He's right there. And
you know what's crazy? I think with the whole cancel culture and everything is people don't realize like. If Disney, and I say Disney because it's like people like Ryan Johnson, Pablo Hidalgo's, the people who are listed on IMDb, and we know you are a writer of et cetera, you have ties to Disney, ties to Lucasfilm. They used to not be able to tag a fan and talk shit to them.
Yeah.
So now, like not for nothing, the sequel movies would not be as hated had Ryan Johnson not fan the flame, I guess. Like nobody likes all the stuff that Mike Zero makes. but nobody's shitting on Mike Zero.
I
No
agree
one's
with that.
calling Mike Zero's phone and saying, bro, you're like one of the worst human beings on the planet. Like, he's just a guy doing YouTube, and now you called him out, and now, you know, people are going to come down even harder on you because now they know you're responsive. They know you're responsive. They got you. That got you moment. So then it's got you moment, slightly racist, got you moment, slightly more liberal pushing, got you moment. And now we're at the point where we're just firing people. We're just info blasting on Twitter, whatever we want, because we think we know we're right. But we're not reaching out and having conversations with people, dude.
No.
Like, it's absurd that people like Ryan Johnson can put a meme out with the middle finger to a fan just because of their opinion of a movie.
And you know, you don't see Ridley Scott doing that.
No.
You don't see, like, you know, when all those crazy, you know, ties with the
Quentin
Steven Spielberg.
Quentin Tarantino would never, dude. He's like, you don't like my movie? Fine, whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because he's the type. Well, his movies are strange and different, like a Rob Zombie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, even Rob Zombie came out and was like, you know, hey man, you know, veggies and stuff is good. It makes you better. And so now they're like, the king of horror is now the king of kale. And it's,
soy boy. Can you imagine?
Yeah. So the thing is, it's like, but he's always on the road, or he was living a road lifestyle. Would you eat McDonald's all the day, or you at least try to eat salads? Like, eventually it takes it. That's what. But yeah, the whole thing with that whole, it's nice to be able to talk out, but then you get like what you just brought up, and then Kevin Durant, when he got caught with the burner account and he was fighting with fans. It's like, dude, you're making millions and they're getting
I bet
to you.
Have you ever seen the meme where it's Chadwick Boseman and he's just saying, we don't do that here?
Yes.
So there's one that's like, when someone puts a serious comment in my thread and so we post that, it's like, no, we don't do that here. Yeah. I guarantee you Kevin Feige sends out weekly emails to all of his Marvel employees with like the Star Wars drama on this side, the DC drama on this side, and then just that GIF. No, we don't do that here. So don't tweet about it, don't Facebook about it, don't Instagram about it, or you're gone. I bet they don't even have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, separate your personality and that stuff from your creative. Like, you're here to create story. You're not anything else.
Yeah. And I look at it this way too, like when I had the problem with my place for a minute, and if they sat down and listened to a lot of my Bring the Pains and disagreed with my views, they could let me go. But in the end, that's just them thinking, that's just their views that they want. Like when they brought up my views about masks online, and that they said that if one of their customers called and complained, that I would be fired. And I'm like, okay, well, that's I can understand that, but also at the same sense, why are you caring more about someone be offended like that? Which a lot of those people are blocked in anything on my face anyway.
Well, but you're doing what you have. Yeah, you're doing what you have to. It's not like you're not doing it. You're just complaining a little bit about it. You know, whatever.
Sometimes you got to wear it for too long. You're like, you know. And like I said, when I brought up the whole ear surgery thing, it just, that ear, the circumference, the whole diameter around it, it's got like dermatitis, and then it irritates, and then it starts bleeding. Yeah. It's just not fun to have something on it all day long. But anyway, that's just like that's what social media gives us. It gives us a platform to just once a year go blah, and then we're done with it. Whereas other people just literally burn and stick all the time. Like if you don't support their narrative, they want to fight with you about yours.
And the fact that people can fight about narrative in general now is what causes half of this stuff. It's like, if you just didn't have things like social media, creatives wouldn't feel pressure. Like, not people talk about how, there's no agenda. Okay, so remove the word agenda. It's pressure. It's pressure to perform. It's pressure to talk about storylines that people want to hear about. Like, that's all it comes down to is pressure. You're letting the
Yes.
pressure of fans, you're letting the pressure of, oh, they're going to be disappointed by this, hold you back.
Yep. And I want to say that's where like the Corona mania, and that's why I call it that, because it's a mania. It's put a lot of these, like, just like all, like the insurance arena here is shut down. Like, my wife had to go seek another way to, make income. And she did that and she found it, but it's given her a new path in life. And that path seems brighter for her than, sitting back and be like, all right, here's your nachos. Okay. Let's get some beers together. Let's do this. Boom. Here's your thing. Because pretty much she's the expediter and she, coordinates all that stuff. And she's the best at it down there. But when you don't have nobody there and you don't have revenue coming in and you can't sell 5,000 tickets to pay for anything, and the stuff just constantly is just running now. The heat, and you have people in there probably dusting, got to run the lines, keep the lines. There's so much aspect, there's so much money, so that it comes back to pressure, exactly what you brought up. And that's on every business right now. So I want to say that I don't think anybody's thinking with a clear mind that it's all clouded. But that's why, like, when you're given the choice to either buy it for $30 at home or go to like our movies, my buddy went up there. He's like, there's like 4 people in a theater that sits like 180.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be scared, and you're not going to eat, popcorn with a mask on. So nobody's really doing that. And they're having fun in there, enjoying movies, and they're trying to generate that money because, like I said, I have these credits. I want to use them. I want to get back into that. I'm so addicted to D-Box. Do you have D-Box? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, not sure.
Okay, so it's pretty much just like a rumble chair that kind of IMAX, I guess. And yes, so
I've gone to Ripley's Believe It or Not type thing. It's a ride. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, you saying that because they have that, of course, on Clifton Hill, Niagara Falls.
I was just gonna say that. Dude, I was 20, and my roommate in college was turning 19. It was my first year at college. His family was like, him and his family are like, you should come to Canada with us for a week. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And we went to Ridley. Yeah, and it's so weird. There were so many like of the wax museums and shit, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, I'll tell you, they literally redid all that in the last few years, and they have that Mario Kart track now.
Oh, that's where that is?
Yeah, dude.
I need to go back.
I know. I just want it. I am gonna wear my Mario shirt when I ride that track. So doing it. I'll wear, like, you get that meme with the with the Mario and Luigi, and they're like, at the bottom it says, "This girl doesn't know yet, but her life is about to end." Yes. It is, but they redo everything, and I will tell you, the last time we were up there, we of course did, the movie land and all that stuff. Christy and Minnie, they kind of just don't do the horror stuff, but I do. Yeah. So I went and did the House of Frankenstein since the last time I did it, and blah blah blah. And they have all different levels because they have that nightmare still up there now. It's supposed to be super scary, but I just haven't been able to siphon it in. Yeah. But that Ripley's, the redo of the Ripley's recently, whoa, it's solid. But this whole thing is, there's a thing up there called Zombie Attack. So it's pretty much like House of Dead, and it's called 6D. So you gotta put the 3D glasses on, and you gotta like go through this whole thing, right? So like Minnie's like, all right, this will be easy, and then Chris is like, whatever, this is whatever. She says she will never. We got that for free, and we got this other one for free that she didn't mind. It was like a 6D. It was called Gold Rush, but it was pretty much it was like a Gold Rush roller coaster. That she could handle, but the way the way it jerks you is insane. But that Zombie Attack, dude, like you probably could check a video out. It's nothing, man. That thing is shaking all over, and zombies are jumping, and you're shooting, right? And we get through the first wave. Molly's she's okay at the moment. She's all right. And then you get my name right at the top. Boom, right? I'm like, yes. It's me. So I'm like, all right, let's go. Right. So we're sitting here doing it. And I hear this screaming in the background, and more than one. And I'm like, I get out of there. And Chrissy goes, that was horrible. She didn't even ride. She was like, she's trying to hold on to me, and the chairs are going like this.
She's not even playing.
Yeah, because it got scary. It was
Nice.
Intense. Mm-hmm. I love the chairs. I like the fact because up until like right near the shutdown and everything like that, those were the seats you could pick and they would always be yours, whereas everything was always around roulette. You bought a ticket, you got there first, you got to sit where you seat. But with the D-block, you bought that seat. Nobody could sit in that. So I would always, here was my deal. There was always these two on the landings. Now, of course, they were not considered handicap chairs, but they were in the handicapped area. So literally you had 5 feet in front of you. You had a wall and then a bar come up behind you, and you had at least 4 feet on each side. So it was just me and Minnie, just there. We legs out. Someone behind us put their legs out. Didn't even matter. They were on the bar. Didn't even mess with us. It was so awesome. And that would always be the first ones I get, because the other ones are that eye level that everybody wants. Yeah. I'm fine with this, man. She got to go take a tink. Well, whoop, whoop. No. Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, I hate that.
And then when you do that now, and your chair's moving, you never know. You could catch somebody's like knee into your knee because their knee goes forward because they take a dive, and you're like, ugh. It could create some problems. Fall over a railing, make a wrestling match out of it. But it's just so fun. Everybody wants it back. Some people have it, but we need, like, when they said that they're going to release those movies coming up in the theater and in there, I'm like, I'm going to the theater. I'm not going to spend the $30 and stay at home. I need to spend this money I paid for a year plus ago. Like that's because they cut it off in March last year. So
has there been any information on whether or not you're going to have to pay extra for like Godzilla and Kong? Or is it just the same day release?
Because I think it's the same day. Yeah, it's the same day. So you can buy HBO Max.
Yeah. So it's like either you pay monthly already, or you go pay more for the theater. So like it's definitely going to deter people from going to the theaters.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's what
AM has every right to be pissed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. But you're not packing the theaters, so you're not getting opening weekend blockbuster hit, setting records. You're not getting that. Go on.
I would go to the midnight release on Thursday. And then at Friday after work, schedule in an evening showing too, if it was good enough. Like,
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, when Rise came out, how many times did you see it? Did you do the midnight show and then go see it the next day, or?
I did do the midnight show, and I think I saw it probably at least 2 more. I went 2 or 3 times. I can't remember exactly, but I went multiple times.
I could have went more than once.
I flipped 180 on the sequels, unfortunately. I used to like be super fan of them, but I blame Star Wars. I blame just the people involved. The way they talk sometimes, it bothers me.
Yeah, it's always like, it's almost like if you're watching a comic book.
Yeah.
They have the one-liners.
I feel like I'm living in a simulation sometimes when it's like, literally 2 weeks ago, you just said you're not for racism and bullying. Now, not only, like, sure, fire her because of what she said. Sure. Yes. But then literally people that work for you are now bullying her, and you're not saying nothing. Like, your fans are shredding her online, and no one's saying a word about it. Like, was she that terrible of a person? Really? The Gina Carano that I've seen in interviews, interacting with Pedro Pascal. I don't know if you've watched the Drunk 3PO YouTubes with her, but like, she tries to explain herself in that. But it's just, I don't know.
To me, with her situation, I've seen the things where this isn't political or blah, 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 blah. To me, you had an MMA fighter. There's other MMA fighters, what's his face, Novergan or something like that. They just, Masvidal. Masvidal.
Oh,
He
yeah,
says
Masvidal.
worse. Yeah, he says
Oh, yeah.
way worse than him, and
Yeah.
Dana White doesn't mind that at all because that's he's a fighter and he's right from where he came from, and the people that they speak and they go back on that. She was an MMA fighter. It takes a different type of person to literally get in a ring like that and get punched. So when you start asking or you see something or they have a problem with something and they say it, that's usually going to be their first reaction is to answer it with how they've been raised, what they've done all their life, et cetera, like you would think with Bring the Pain, of course, you're going to get an edgy, response or, a fire back. And that's what I'm saying about some of my episodes. I do release that. And that's the guy I call the pain bringer. And that's why I do things that make me a jerk. But I'm also doing that to make a laugh when I want to talk about how a toilet seat makes me mad, or my recent one, bless you, nail clippers. Nail clippers. Like, do you ever get a pair of new nail clippers and you clip them, but they don't clip it, it bends it up? And you're like, do your job. Do your job. That's I get the file out. You just it literally it drives me mad. Like those things. That's what it's for. But somebody might try to defend those nail clippers. Like, we made them that way so that if you used them on a baby, it wouldn't pinch the baby. And I'm like, it ain't working on me. And if I wanted baby clippers.
Yeah. So,
go on.
And so you go on and post about how pissed off you are. And then the next person comes along and they're like, wow, you're actually a moron for how mad you are about that. And you take even more offense to it, and it just keeps going, and no one's stepping in. Nobody's trying. Not that it's their job, but I think that Gina is proving a really good point. She's using really shitty memes that aren't even like the best way. It's not even the best way she could get it across.
No.
But she's doing it on purpose. She's either doing it on purpose or just doesn't care. And I really feel like I'm curious what people would have done had Gina really like not done the whole beep bop boop thing, but instead screenshotted all the messages she got berated with, posted all those like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? And then leaves social media. Leaves it. Just like Kelly Marie Tran, just like Daisy Ridley, just like every single other person that's being harassed, but they're not being harassed for the same reasons. But it's still harassment.
Yeah, and I think that if you're going to work for a company like that, you do know the bowl you're waiting in. You know that you're going to be exposed like that, so more people are going to look at you. So do you have a public relations person covering that, saying, "Hey, can we get that down real fast?" Okay, thank you. But bringing up a couple things, I rolled with a couple people leading up to, I don't want to really, Mr. Legend's wife, I don't want to say her name, so I don't want this flagged in any way, but she deleted like 12,000 tweets in like 10 minutes. And what was bad was that half this crew had like 10 years of tweets screenshot. Who does that? Who? Yeah. I'm like, the people who do that need hobbies. I had a 12-hour ban the other day. I didn't even know I got it. It was literally one of my guys, Mad Lav, one of the guys that runs with those guys, cool MMA guy. So he gives you like all those fights. He'll tell you who to play, things like that, and put the bets on. He leaves a video about a confrontation in a gym where a guy must have been working out, and then he has a confrontation with the dude, and the trainer's a pretty big guy. And he does, the other guy, the little smaller guy, he does say, if you'd have just stayed over there minding your own business and let me just continue my workout, this wouldn't be happening right now. And he's right, but he pushes the guy a couple of times. And then he gives him this fucking smirk, dude. He gives him this smirk, and he's like, right? And all I said was, I would have slapped that smirk off his face, and I got a 12-hour ban. Meanwhile, on Facebook.
On Twitter?
Yes, on Twitter. I mean, yes, not Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then on Facebook, you've seen some of those. Yeah, you've seen some of the people that went under my posts leading up to that election, and you were getting like the most vile things and name calling and that. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah.
Just, I was like, that's literally the most PG.
I do not defend it at all, man. Not at all.
And I made the comment. I deleted it. I took my 12 hours off. Whatevs.
Yeah.
I can understand if I left like 180 characters. I literally left like 30. Like, I didn't even swear, which was wild. But whatever.
It's wild.
It is. And I think that just kind of, it plays into everything. And it's all their losses. While they're all fighting, people like us just reap it all up. People like us enjoy everything.
Yeah.
We get laughters from both sides. We go, look
Yeah.
at you. Look at you. This is great.
It's hard to talk about it. It's hard to talk about it and try to stay neutral or even explain that I understand where Gina's coming from. And I also understand where everybody else is coming from. But my issue that I take is Group A is not talking to Group B. They're just talking shit on Twitter.
Yes. Oh, man. Great.
No one's talking to anybody else.
Yeah.
Got to communicate.
It's literally one of the things that just brings that you want to see everybody come together. And I think that's where Corona Mania has gone too long. They need to get the theaters open more. I mean, they're open, but there's nothing really playing in them than movies we've already seen 100 times and that are free on our Prime accounts.
Yeah.
I don't need to have that experience. I can go get a bag of Act 2. I can go get some over Redenbachers. I can grab some oil and I can make it myself.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need that. We need.
Yeah, I missed it.
It is. It's really good, man. But I don't want to keep you too long off of your other thing. I think we've covered a lot of bases on this show. This was really fun, and it's something I want to really.
Yeah, we got for sure.
Yeah. Go on. I know you have it because I see you have jewelry up there. So a lot of people don't know that you also do your Mind Sight thing too. So if you want to, plug that as well too, get that out there.
I was gonna see if I got a card, but it's Mind MIND Sigh SIGH, and you can find us on Instagram or mindsightminerals.com. But I do hand wrapped, wire wrap pendants.
Yeah, he's got some skills. He takes requests. He's done work in the Star Wars universe. Go on.
Yeah, eventually I'm gonna be doing kyber crystal harnesses, but this is the best one I've made so far. But
look at that.
Yeah, just hand wrapping. Got
That's
a little
awesome.
gem hidden back here too.
Nice. See, that's.
But yeah, man, it's hard because I don't want to just be a wire wrapper. I want to be the guy who makes kyber crystal things.
Yeah.
And I gotta every crystal is gonna come in like a point shape, so like a little citrine, aquamarine for like a blue kyber crystal. This one's even more blue. This green guy. So it's gonna be eventual, but yeah, we like to go hunting for minerals too. So like if people know what they're into. Yeah. So
so when you said that, like you are not online, do you actually try to dig? Like, are you near a place that you could dig this stuff up at, or not saying you're going to find an emerald?
Yeah, I live in upstate New York, near Syracuse. Is pretty much the biggest place people recognize. But there's also Herkimer County, and we're pretty good friends with that people that own mines for Herkimer diamonds that you can only find in our area, and they are defined because they'll have 2 points on either end. So that's how you know it's like a Herkimer diamond. But
that's cool. I didn't know.
They're pretty inexpensive as far as from the crystal aspect. There's definitely more rare crystals out there, but yeah, we just try to vet relationships with people online, and we have a bunch of people we buy and sell with. So it's fun.
Awesome. That's awesome. And then I know that you gave out some of your other tags. You want to re-give those out right now as well too?
Yeah, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, Hawks Holocrons. I'm actually big in with a lot of other people at the Den of Nerds. I'm on their live stream. I'm in the live stream chats every single day with those guys. So I don't know if eventually I'll be able to contribute to that more, but
that'd be Star Wars. I mean, they're part of the Rebel Scum podcast network that they got going on. It's amazing how this all ties together.
That's really why I'm trying to do this, and I'm just experimenting on Facebook while I'm working on better internet connections, better equipment. Like
Mm.
we're working with an iPhone right now. So if I can do it, man, literally people can do this. I'm
Yeah,
using
and
an
it's
iPhone.
fun. And it's better than bashing anybody, because this whole episode,
Yeah.
we didn't bash
Mhm.
anybody. We talked about bashing. We said our
Yeah.
comments, and we're just going to be tweeners. That's the way it's going to
Yeah.
be, because like I say, it's always about creating your path, creating your destiny, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
If you walk that and it makes you happy, then everything else on the outside can stay there. Yes, there's a beautiful world outside. We will go explore that. But we're also going to make sure that we're doing something that we believe in, that we have fun, and watching it and getting, sharing things. Like I saw on my the YouTube that there was like pages that I support, and it's empty. I'm like, but I follow
Mhm.
people. How do I do that? I'm like, how do I
Yeah.
put people in there like you and Fly Casual? How can I put them in there? So if someone comes to my page, they'll say, oh, well, look, he also watches these things. Like you said, Den with Nerds, right? Or Nerds with Dens.
And I try to name drop all these guys. Rebel
Yeah.
Scum, like that Rebel Scum are some of the first people I used to follow. Mike used to do videos with those guys back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
support all these channels. Anytime I get information, I tell people that's where I got it from. Like, these are my
Mhm.
people. I'm
Yeah.
just a guy looking up articles.
Just having fun and doing what we
Yeah, man.
love to do, making crystals,
Yeah.
doing podcasts, re-talking about things, keeping you involved in that universe. That just
Mhm.
makes good life, and it makes your life just fun to me.
Yeah,
Like
dude. And
everybody.
if you're a person who's unhappy out there, just stop doing things that make you unhappy. Like don't even start conversations with people. Don't even start conversations with people if it's going to make you unhappy. That's where I'm
There it
at.
is.
Like
Yeah,
if you
there.
immediately push back on me and I'm literally just trying to have a conversation, I will put my phone down and walk away.
There it is.
So
There it is. Awesome stuff, man. Well, it was great having you on. We're going to definitely do more of these.
hell yeah.
I'm probably going to see you here in about 2 weeks when we do the Casual Council. So
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
that's coming up.
That could get spicy. Could get spicy.
Have you put any of that, what you wrote down, into the Google Doc?
No. I don't know. What are we talking about this week? High Republic?
I hasn't even seen anything written in there yet. It wouldn't be this week. It's probably going to be another 2 weeks, because they just did their.
Nope, I don't really know what these guys want to talk about. I want to talk about all the High Republic stuff eventually. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you guys
you're
start
in the
to read
Google
that.
Doc though, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I read some of that, but the date's weird. So like it'd be like 2 years ago. I'm like, no one wrote that 2 years ago. So,
Well, you can add when I add to it, I put the date, so I make sure.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think the last one, I think the one time I added was the video game stuff. So kind of knew that was going to happen. So,
Mhm.
but they brought up something to me on the thing. They were like, just this past week, and they go, Rob, ever since you started dropping Abeloth, people message Holly and Michael about Abeloth now.
Yes, dude,
They're
let's
like, who
go.
is this person? She looks scary. What is he talking about?
Yeah,
That's it.
funny. So funny.
Generation. Good stuff, man. All right, I'm going to end this, and then we'll say our goodbyes afterwards. But other than that, man, give me an outro, my brother.
Oh, you want me to give the outro?
Oh, I'll do my outro at the very end, but you give
Oh,
yourself
for me,
an
yeah,
outro.
man. I'm just you really gonna find me mainly on Twitter, Hawks Holocrons, or Hawks Holocrons Facebook. I try to do live streams there.
Mhm.
The live streams, I'm gonna get better at posting to the YouTube. It's pretty much Hawks Holocrons anywhere you want to go find it.
There you go. Just like it's Heater Run and Bring the Pain Everywhere. Keep it simple, and everybody will find you. And that's the best way that we can think of right now to actually bring the pain to this industry. Because people like us, we don't pick sides. We love everybody. Ooh, yeah.